Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cypher, and right now I am basically reacting to the edit changes. Uh, Epic made some changes to the way editing works, and you can't see through your edits anymore when you're peeking. So before, when you're editing, you can actually click G and then peek through the walls by clicking on the boxes. Now, when you click on them, they're not see-through. However, you still can see through the cracks of the walls a little bit. And I guess that's kind of what people are going to start using now. So it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult. However, this change, I understand the reason behind it. There's a lot of situations where people are camping in 1x1s, and they're just sitting there peeking through, and they open up and take shots, and even I'm guilty of doing that sometimes. However, this does affect quick editing in build fights, which I don't think anybody had a problem with. I think more people had a problem with people just camping, sitting in boxes, while completely using a one-way window to see outside and know when to open up. So that was a very safe playstyle that I think they're trying to remove. Now, I do want to say a few things. When it comes to the edit peek, this mainly disturbs the wall peeking that people used to do. But like I said, you still can look through the cracks. So if you got somebody right behind this wall, and they're standing with a shotgun out, you can still see them and kind of play that game. But one thing I do want to mention is that when you're doing this, especially right when you place a wall down, you see how when it's blue you can kind of see through it really well. And actually this becomes more apparent when you're using metal or brick, because it takes it a little bit longer to build. And I'm actually gonna get some metal right here just to show you guys. You got to be extra careful now when you're going for that edit, because your opponent will have better visibility on you than you do to them, and that is way more apparent with metal, and I'll show you why. Metal takes a while to build, and usually you can see through the metal for a very long time. So let's say you put a metal wall up in front of your opponent, and you're trying to see them. You can see them pretty clearly right here, but as soon as you go for that edit, you give up your visibility, but they can still see you perfectly fine. So in a situation like this, where you have a metal wall, you probably want to wait and like see where they are. Then you go for the edit play, and you got to do it quick, because as soon as you go for it, you lose that visibility and they might move around. So instead of going for the edit play and waiting for the right opportunity, let's say you're using metal wall or brick wall, you kind of have to wait. Even wood wall, you kind of have to wait, see where they are, assess the situation, and then open up on them when you see fit. Another thing I want to mention is when it comes to ramp editing, this actually doesn't really nerf ramp editing at all. Let's say there's somebody down here. I'm going to pretend that this medkit is a player just because I don't have any volunteers. Let's say that medkit is a player. I'm on top of them. And actually, let's use brick because it's less visible. Actually, let's use metal. I'm on top of them. This metal is completely covering the outside. I mean, completely covering this medkit. I can't see this medkit anymore. Once it's completely done building, I can't see it anymore. One sec. I gotta turn on the silent one just for now. My bad, guys. So when it comes to ramp peeking, you can still peek right through this. You see that? Because only this part is blocked out. So you can actually still see the medkit, see the player, and then drop down on them and kill them. And what this means for you guys is, and I just realized this, you can still be in a 1x1 while peeking out. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to pull off properly. So let's say I am in a box. You know, I'm in a box right now, and I want to be able to peek out, you know, and look around my environment. So the best way to do it now would be to do the archway, where you open this up, you put a ramp down, you know, you back up into this, and now you're like this, you know, so you can still see out. You're less protected because you only got a ramp in between you and your opponent, but you can still see out. And then if you spot somebody, you drop down, shoot them. And let's say you wanna rotate, you do this, you do that, you do this, and now you're basically using ramps now to peek out. It's less reliable, but this is still going to be something that people will do to peek out from a 1x1, you know? And honestly, you don't even need to do this whole opening thing. You can just have one little thing open so you can look through this, and then when the opportunity presents itself, you drop down and start shooting. So to be honest with you, this change, while it makes it a little more inconvenient, edit peeking is still going to be possible. And I'm wondering, actually, like when it comes to ramps, when it comes to ramps, actually, I don't even think ramps affect this the way it's supposed to. Like you could be in a box like this, and when you're editing, you can still see through, and you know, at any moment, you open up. You can see through, and at any moment you open up and shoot. So this mainly nerfs the walls because the boxes on the walls are right on the walls. However, ramps, you know, ceilings, obviously, it's also going to be affected. Or floor pieces are also going to be affected. But the roofs and the ramps aren't heavily affected by this change. They're slightly affected. They're not heavily affected. So I'm going to see a lot more people using roofs and ramps, you know, in their edit peaks and whatnot. I think good players will definitely adjust this. I think in close quarter combat, if you put a wall in front of somebody, you should still be able to like know when to open up. I mean, these cracks that you can use these cracks for visibility, and they're not the greatest, but you can still see what somebody's doing if they have a shotgun in their hand, if they're emoting, if, you know, you do the emote tactic and you open up on them. It's still going to work. It's just going to be a little bit harder in some situations. But for the most part, this really just affects the walls and the floors. And it's gonna require more angling and stuff. So that's my reaction to the edit peeking. Place pyramids instead of floors. But no, that wouldn't work. Like if you place the pyramid instead of a floor. But you know, with the what the flip? Hold up. I just noticed something. When you place the floor down, hold up. Bro, no. Look. All right, guys, I want to show you something real quick. If you got somebody underneath in a room, you place a pyramid down instead of a floor, and I'll explain why. When you place a floor down and you confirm the box, you know, you really can't see anything. It's gonna block you out. Now you can see through the cracks, but that's about it. But when it comes to the pyramid, when you press the object, it actually lifts up like this. So that lift gives you a little more visibility into the room, and it allows you to make better plays and better decisions. The only downside to that is they can place their own floor down, you know, like underneath your pyramid, they can place their own floor down. And to combat that, you could place your own floor, you know, open it up, then do this, and you know, now they can't place their own floor. But in a quick situation where you're just going for like a quick edit peek without them reacting, the pyramid piece actually, the block lifts up while the floor piece doesn't lift up, you know. So it gives you just a little more peek advantage, because right now, like, let's say someone's in that corner with the pyramid, I can lift this up and get that angle. But if I had a floor down here, I mean, you could still see, but you just don't get as much of an angle. Interesting. All right, guys, I want to show you one more technique to edit peek while you're in a 1x1. You're going to be using pyramid to do this. Basically, you place a pyramid on the top of your 1x1, and now you can edit peek. And you don't get as much visibility as you did before, but you can still move around and see outside and basically open up when you need to and close back up when you need to. So it's not going to be as efficient, and you're going to have to rotate your stairs to get better angles. But, you know, it's still something you can do to somewhat see from the outside without kind of exposing yourself. So it's a tactic you can employ. I gave a few ideas with the ramps. You can still edit peek with ramps. You can still edit peek with pyramids, you know. It's still a thing. You don't lose all visibility in that situation. We got a situation, chat. We've been sniped. I think these guys are stream sniping because I don't know why they'd be up in the corner. But guys, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this edit peak reaction / tutorial / explanation. If you guys have any your input, your opinion, please leave it in the comments down below, and subscribe for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching.